So, what if I told you that the smartest, most strategic way to live a happy and successful life wasn't about taking, but about giving? Well, today, we're going to break down an author's really powerful argument that a life dedicated to service and giving isn't just a noble idea. He says it's the most intelligent path anyone can choose. Let's dive in. Okay, so this whole philosophy doesn't start with some big, complex theory. Nope. It all kicks off with a simple, really relatable story. It's about a single act of generosity that ends up having this surprising and pretty awesome ripple effect. So the author tells this story about a guest at his resort. He decided to lend the guest his boat, no strings attached, and even filled it up with gas for him. Just a simple act of kindness. And then, in return, when the guest was leaving, he just gave the author a brand new gas grill. A small gesture of generosity was met with another one, just like that. And that little story, it really gets right to the heart of the whole idea. The author believes we all understand this on a gut level. I mean, think about it. We remember the people who are generous, and we want to be around them, right? And on the flip side, we definitely remember those who take advantage, and we just naturally pull away. It's a basic social principle, plain and simple. So, how does a simple idea like that scale up? Well, the author takes it a huge step further. He turns it into a fundamental choice about how we live our entire lives, a decision he thinks is one of the most important we'll ever make.
Let me just put the author's question to you directly. Take a second and think about the people in your life, your friends, your coworkers, whoever. Who do you actually want to be around?
It's a pretty easy choice, isn't it? We're just drawn to people who give, who make us feel seen and valued. And according to the author, surrounding yourself with people like that, and, here's the key, being a person like that, well, that's the recipe for a fulfilling life. A life of taking, on the other hand, that just leads to resentment and ultimately a pretty lonely existence.
Okay, now the author takes this whole idea and really raises the stakes. He presents us with two possible life scripts, and he says we need to choose very, very carefully.
And this is where the author really drives his point home, and he doesn't pull any punches. Script 1, a life of taking. He claims this path leads to misery and helplessness. But script 2, a life of giving. He says that path leads to health and energy. It's a powerful claim, right? By serving others, you're actually doing the best possible thing for yourself. It's a total paradox. Now let's look at how the author actually puts this philosophy into practice in his own life, especially when he and his spiritual and wellness organization, Life Chan Zhu Yuan, faced some pretty serious accusations. This is really where the theory gets tested in the real world. He basically frames his entire defense around this personal motto. His argument is that because his life is so fundamentally built on this principle of giving, the accusations that were leveled against him they don't make any sense within that framework.
He directly takes on two very serious claims that he says authorities tried to build a case on: swindling money and swindling sex. And he asserts that no evidence has ever been found, simply because, he argues, his actions are always guided by his philosophy of giving, not taking. So here's a breakdown of his rebuttal. When it comes to the money he claims he's not taking, he's actually the community's largest financial contributor. He says all donations go right back into construction and that he's even given his own personal assets. So in his view, it's all about giving. As for the other accusation, he argues there couldn't have been any deception because his organization's philosophy is totally public. No special promises were ever made, and no one's freedom was ever restricted. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The author takes this personal philosophy and scales it up, way up, into what he describes as a universal cosmic law. He's not just saying this is a good idea, he's saying this is literally how the universe is wired. He calls this concept the cosmic energy balance. The way he sees it, the universe is this big, closed system where positive and negative energy are always in balance, always adding up to zero. So, every single action we take either adds to our spiritual credit or to our spiritual debt. And this table really lays out the ultimate stakes of our choice, according to him. A life of giving and service? He claims that's like banking provisions for heaven. You're building up all this positive spiritual capital. But a life of taking and selfishness? Well, in his own words, you are paving your own road to hell. All right, so let's bring all these ideas together into the author's final, actionable advice on how to live what he believes is truly the smartest possible life. It really just boils down to these three simple principles. First, never regret what you've given. Once it's gone, it's gone. Second,
Give without expecting anything back. You do it just for the sake of giving. And third, do it with joy, and do it willingly. And that, he concludes, is the path chosen by the truly wise.
And that leaves us with a pretty big thought to chew on. I mean, the author presents a really compelling case, right? He links personal happiness, social success, and even our cosmic destiny to this simple act of giving. But is a life of truly unconditional giving really the smartest path? That's definitely a question worth pondering.